Hello and welcome back. So we've come to a point where we're ready to deploy our app to production. Okay, so deploy to Heroku. But before we do that, there's one more redundancy that I'd like to clean up. Okay, so in your blog, if you go to app, controllers, and then articles controller, now notice this line that says at article equals article.find params ID. Okay, this line is in the edit action. This line is in here in the update action. It's here in show. It's also here in destroy. It's used 4 times here. So this looks like a good candidate to move to a method since we're constantly repeating this line of code. So under private, I'm going to create a method. I'm going to call it define set underscore param and then end. Actually, I'm going to call it set article. This nitrous is giving me a problem with my indentation. And I'll simply say at article equals article.find params square bracket colon ID close square bracket close parentheses. Okay, so basically the same code that I have here at article equals article find. Okay, so now I want to delete it from all of these methods. I have this method. I'm going to call this method. Now, how do I do that? First, let me delete it from destroy, show, update, and then edit. Be careful not to remove it where it doesn't exist. For example, in create, don't get rid of this article.new or any of that. Okay. So how do we ensure that these methods where I remove this code from call this set article method first? How do we ensure that before they do anything? Simple enough. On top here, you're going to say before underscore action, then space, then colon, set underscore article, which is the name of the method that we did over here, set article. Okay? Before action, set article, but we don't want the other actions to call this set article as well. We don't want index, new, create to call set article. We only want edit, update, show, and destroy to call this method. So before action, set article, comma, only, colon, space, open square bracket, colon, edit, comma, colon, update, comma. It looks like my connection timed out. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Then colon, show, comma, colon, destroy. Save that. Okay, so before action, set article, only these 4 methods will call this method. All right, so let's try it out. So I'll navigate to my application. Okay, hit enter. All right, so let's start the server. So Rails S space -b space 0.0.0.0. Hit enter. Okay, server's running. Preview application. Okay, so I'm going to go to Alpha Blog. All right, create new article. So this link is working. That means before action set article did not get called on new, which is good. Back to articles listing. So edit should have that. So if I click on it, should find this article. Yes, it correctly found the article. That's good. So that's working. Now update. So I will just update the description. Actually, I'll update the title. title, update article. So this is going to the update action. Looks like I'm having issues with my container again. Okay, the server is running, but this is still, so I think my request got lost. So I'm going to enter in another request. Okay, so this link isn't working. So I'm gonna go back and I'm going to close out of this, then preview. Okay, there you go. Click on the blog. Now I'll click on this testing article, edit. Okay, so edited title, update article. Okay, article was successfully updated. Perfect, that's working. Back to articles listing. So edit, update is working. Now I'll click on show. Okay, so showing selected article, that's working as well. Now the last part is delete. I'll delete this article about partials. Delete, are you sure? Okay. Okay, so the delete action is also working and I'm getting the message. So perfect. All right, so I will shut down the server at this point. So now we're ready to deploy our app to production. So first, git space add space dash capsa to stage all of our changes, then git commit dash m to commit all of our changes, and the message we'll give is extract redundancy and prepare for production, close quote, hit enter. Okay, now git push to push our code to our GitHub repository. Perfect. Now let's deploy our app to production. Now remember, we had already made changes and deployed our app to production before, so our gem file already has the configuration that we need with group production, group development all separated out. All right, so what I'll do is simply git push Heroku master, hit enter. Okay, now it's deploying. Okay, perfect. It's deployed. So I'm going to go to this link, Command C, and instead of the local server here, I'll just paste it here. All right, now there's one step I didn't do, which I have to do right now. Over here, I had created tables here after my last deploy. So first step is Heroku run rake db :migrate. Okay, so the command is Heroku space run space rake space db :migrate. What this does is it runs all your migrations in production in Heroku. So it creates any tables that need to be created for your production application. All right, hit enter. Okay, so as I'd suspected, there were lots of migrations that weren't run in my production app, and it created all of the tables, and now our app is finally ready to use. So I'm going to reload this page. All right, now if I click on Alpha Blog right now, there it is, listing all articles. I don't have any articles in production, so create new article, first production article. This feels great. Okay, create article. Article was successfully created, showing selected article, first production article. This feels great. Now click on articles listing. Great, let's create another one. Second article. This also feels great. Click on create article. Okay, second article. All right, now let's edit the first one. And I'll say third production article. This feels great, dash edited. Update article, perfect. Back to articles listing. Third production article, this feels great. Okay, now show. The show link is working. Back to articles listing. So what if I want to delete this article right here? Click on delete. Okay. Article was successfully deleted. Perfect. So my production application is working as well. So that's good news. Now with that, we come to the conclusion of section 4. What I want you to do at this time is copy the link for your Heroku app, okay? Once you've deployed, and then paste it in the discussion section so we can take a look. And not just for me, but other students as well. Everyone can take a look at your app, all right? Now, in the next section, we're going to start styling our application. We have some pretty decent CRUD functionality, and we've deployed our app to production, but if you look at it, there's not really much going on in terms of styling. And our homepage, if I go to the root route, it looks very empty. There's nothing going on. So we're going to start with styling our application. We're going to add Bootstrap, and we're going to do a lot of fun things in the next section. So in preparation for that, there are a couple of homework assignments that you need to do. If you have experience with CSS and know what it is, then you can skip this part of the homework assignment. If you do not have experience with CSS or haven't used it in a while, go to w3schools.com and click on this link for Learn CSS, okay? And then go through as many lessons here as you can, okay? As many of the links. Now, you don't have to finish it. You don't have to be a CSS expert. That's not expected at all. But you need to be able to tell what's going on when you look at code or if you're asked to build something with it, right? So at least things like classes and IDs, you need to be able to explain what those things are. So go through this. And then the next component, we're going to use Bootstrap extensively for our front end, okay? For styling our entire UI, we're going to use Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is a library that's available to you in Rails, and it's very easy to install. It's basically a CSS and JavaScript library. And once you install Bootstrap, a lot of CSS and JavaScript code become available to you to use in your application. It makes things like building navigation bars, buttons, panels, then input forms very easy, and it also styles it very nicely, okay? But if you've never seen Bootstrap or never seen it used, it could be a little challenging at first to look at or to understand what's going on. Things like, I'll go to components and then click on navbar. Now, here is a navbar. To build this navbar, you literally have to just copy and paste this code. And if you have Bootstrap installed, this code will create this navbar for you, okay? But if you just saw this in isolation and you had never worked with it, this looks pretty daunting, right? But it's really not. It's very simple to work with, but you do have to look at it and kind of get comfortable with it. All right. So a couple of things about Bootstrap. It treats your web page in a grid system. Okay. It breaks it up into 12 parts, and then it makes it very easy to work with within those 12 parts. And it's built with primarily with mobile in mind. So making pages responsive depending on screen size and all of that becomes very easy when you use Bootstrap. Now, you don't have to know all of that, but just look through it. Look at the components, then look at the CSS that's available to you, the libraries. For example, let's take a look at an example. Here is an explanation of the grid system, and something like this would be very good to read, okay, and familiarize yourself with. Then if you go to components, and if you scroll down, and let's see, Jumbotron. You can basically add this to your application simply by saying div class Jumbotron. And if you have Bootstrap installed in your app, this shows up. So that's how easy it is to basically work with Bootstrap. But again, if you've never seen it, it can be a little daunting at first. So read through it as much as you can, kind of familiarize yourself with what's available for you. And starting at the beginning of the next section, we'll work on our home page and we'll use this extensively. All right? So good luck on your homework assignment, and I'll see you in the next section.